Greetings. So it says, we're telling your followers that you've started a live video.
We'll be starting in a few minutes. We're waiting for our guest.
A few people are joining already.
This is what I started off the day with, and we'll be talking about Ravello shortly. Let's see. Yeah.
Got some people already. Elizabeth Onesco's joined us. The Crystal Librarian. Mazzelli 64.
Well, I don't know about everybody, but as you can tell, it's kind of a little brighter in here because we have sunshine after 3 to 4 weeks of big snowstorms with a little ice thrown in. So we're all happy today. Plus, we're hosting the NBA All-Star Game this weekend. Honestly, I don't remember if it was, I think it's today, but I'm not sure.
It is today.
There was some game last night too, I didn't pay attention. But. So anyway, welcome to Cleveland. Welcome to Indigo Perfumery. And we are going to be joined by, in about 2 seconds. Oh, there you are.
Here I am.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Well,
Do you remember when we talked before Instagram Live was ever a thing? Probably like 4, 5, 6 years ago.
yes.
It was like radical to be able to talk to you and see you at the same time.
Well, we have more time. We have more time in the office these days, so it's easier.
Well, everyone, am I pronouncing it correctly, Madalina?
It's perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Everyone, this is Madalina of Jul Mad, so she obviously would be the mad part.
Hello, everyone.
And is the Jul part here?
The good part is doing he's making his shine face today. No, actually he wasn't prepared. He was prepared yesterday and today he couldn't do it.
No problem. I think he's kind of the mystery man anyway.
Well, we like it. I know, we like it to keep it that way. We already show everything about us, so
It's very true.
a little mystery, it's still good.
Exactly. So I was trying to recall, did you start Jul Mad in 2012, was it?
Exactly, yes. We founded the company in 2011 and we've launched in October 2012. At that time, it was at Mina, New York. It's a long,
Sure.
yes. Yeah. And then
you were one of the first lines we had here too. I was so honored that you would even allow Indigo to do that.
Yeah, I remember when you have contacted me and we started talking and we sent the first product. I remember.
So Jul Mad is based on stories of your life, kind of reflecting a lot of stories of your life. But I think that most people don't know the story of how you two met, and I think it is one of the most romantic stories I've ever heard. Would you mind telling us about it?
No, I will, with pleasure. Well, actually, everything started in when I finished, right before finishing my studies, while I was studying in New York, and I was sent to Paris with an internship at the end of my studies, of course, to study the world of perfumery. So I was here, and one day, it was the month of May, I remember. It was a beautiful day, and I was just sitting at the terrace, enjoying my dinner. I was all by myself, and at some point, I see this gorgeous guy walking on the sidewalk in front of the terrace. And
did you whistle?
Sorry?
Did you whistle?
Oh no, I don't do that. No.
I don't either.
And no, we just he actually it was very how should I say simple. Our eyes just crossed. Basically, we looked at each other, and he wanted to take a closer look, so he crossed the street in front of me, and it was quite a funny moment because right before reaching the sidewalk, he thought he was already on the sidewalk, but he wasn't. So he kind of stumbled, in front of me. So well, he regained his balance quite quickly. So we just smiled at each other, and then he walked on, and that was about it. And then I finished my dinner, like, I don't know, about an hour went by, and I was getting up to, getting ready to go back to my hotel, and then I look, getting up, and I see the same guy coming from the other way, doing the coming back, and I'm like, this is really strange. It's the same guy.
I've got goosebumps.
I know he was. I was like, that's very interesting. So because it was almost an hour later, so he was just in front of me. I was right behind him, and at some point, I don't know, because I would never do that, but something made me, and I said to him, "Attends, attends," because he was kind of turning, and he wouldn't dare stopping, and he was turning again, and at some point, I'm like, "Attends, attends" means wait for a moment. In French. So he stopped, and we started talking, and this is how we've met. And 9 months later, we are married. Me living in New York, him living in Paris, and we were just spending our weekends. And he was able to come very often to the city, but we just spent basically 9 months in the plane. So yeah.
That's funny. Did you speak French at all when you were there?
I studied French in Romania.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. I studied French in Romania, but it was level, like in school. You are not, the conversation wasn't very fluent, but what was very important is that the grammar was. We studied lots of grammar. They were obsessed with the grammar, so that helped a lot because French is very complicated.
Yeah.
So having this background, and it was easy to get on track.
So how did you decide to open up a company like this?
Oh, the company, as I was saying, I was doing my studies in New York, and we know how expensive the studies are in the States. So, and to pay up for my studies, because I was basically by myself, I used to work selling cosmetics and fragrances. I started with, Barney's, Bendel, Bergdorf Goodman. And I was studying advertising and communications at the time. And after I graduated, I realized that I didn't like it, and I wouldn't see myself doing that as a career. So, and one of my mentors, he told me, listen, throughout all the projects and everything you've done, and you've been working, it was all based on fragrances. You have something with those fragrances. So he directed me to FIT, the Fragrance Institute of Technology in New York, and they have a master's program for, for the future executives in the industry. So they only take 24 students a year. It's quite difficult. You have to have already superior studies to get into the program. So I applied, and I was accepted. So this is how well, I continued working in the industry. And at the end, as I said, as I finished the first one, I was sent to Paris for an internship paid by the school.
Oh, that's
so, yeah, so this is how I've met Julien. So I've been working in the industry because I you know, when I left Romania, I was just finishing up high school. So for me, studies were very important, and I stopped. You know, by the time I got to the U.S., the adapting, the papers, you know how it is. But I knew that I would need to go back to school. It was very, very important for me at some point. So I went back to school, and I was 23 at the time. So I was the oldest, always in the, but it was a great experience, and then I really enjoyed it, and I had the chance to be you know, taught and accompanied by people who really, really believed in me. So this is how I started.
It's so fun to hear. Thank you for sharing that.
No
Well,
problem. To come back to the how je le mad, then again, I had a chance to working from the selling floor throughout my studies. I did lots of internships, and then I had through my jobs afterwards and I had a chance to do pretty much everything from the product development all the way to the distribution, and for small, very small company as for the largest, basically. And
boy, everything you've done prepared you for that.
yeah, always wanted to create my line. One morning I woke up and I said to Julian, you know what? I'm stopping everything. I'm ready. I'm launching. And he
Good.
joined. Yeah, because at the time he had his communication and his advertising company. He sold everything and he joined me.
Big leap of faith.
Yes, so this is how we started.
Which perfume did you come up with first?
We came up first the trilogy. It was Stilettos on Legs, Terrasse Saint-Germain, et Amour de Palazzo.
That's what I
And
thought.
it,
Okay.
voilà, it was basically the first Stilettos on Legs. It's me, my beautiful me, before in New York, before meeting Julian. The second one was Terrasse Saint-Germain. It was how we've met.
Yeah.
As I was telling. And the third one, because after we've met, personally, I went back to New York, I finished my studies, and then I came back to Europe for the summer break. And of course, I've met Julien, and he said, I have a surprise for you, and he took me to Venice. And this is actually where our love story started. So that's why it was, we called it Amour de Palazzo.
Yes, that fits for
So
sure.
it was
Oh,
this was the first three perfumes we came up with.
I mean, they're all beautiful. I have,
Thank you.
we have almost everything here. We have a few more back here, but
I see. Thank you.
what do you find is the most popular?
But Stilettos on Legs, it's always been number one.
Wow.
Whatever we do, since day number one. And there is no other to have dethroned it. But we have Stairway to Heaven, who are very, very close behind it. And Nea is doing very well. Actually, what's very beautiful about our fragrances is that according to the market, according to the country where they are sold, there is not one, they are balanced in the numbers. Certain countries prefer certain things, and which makes it quite even for the sales. But the ones that really, really stand out, as I was saying, are Stiletto, Stairway, Aqua Safety, and Lea. It was a little bug, I think.
Yeah, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you say that because you were frozen. The ones
Oh,
that out, Stilettos on Lex,
Stairway
Stairway to Heaven.
Yes. Very,
Yeah.
very close behind. Well, it's more recent, so
Yeah.
it's the last one from the series, but it's catching up with Stilettos. Aqua Sextus is one of our bestsellers throughout as well, and Nea, And as I was saying, I don't know if you heard this part, as different regions, different countries prefer different scents, there is not one, and that's very beautiful for us, and it's very encouraging. That's performing slower than the others. But these basically these four, they truly stand out throughout.
I would say here as well.
Yes.
So you had your collection that you did before, and then you decided to have Les Essentials. Well, that's how I'm saying it. How do you say it prettily?
Les Essentiels.
Okay, it sounds much better. How did you even get that idea?
Actually, we've been working on this collection for the past 2.5 years before the pandemic. And with the pandemic, we slowed down the project. And because we had, throughout the years, we had many demands from lots of customers who wanted a more direct perfume. Because versus our perfumes, which are stories within the stories, they are very complex. They truly, they are a real composition that have a whole, again, a novel story behind it. So we had lots and lots of customers who love the perfumery to be more direct, to identify with a certain note in their perfume, to recognize it very easily. Also, it was with the pandemic, because the product changed a bit with the months passing by, as you can imagine. It was back to the essentials, basically, back to basics.
Yeah, makes sense.
It was also our desire to put forward raw materials, ingredients that we affectionate in particular, because these are the source of Jul Paris. It's the core of Jul Paris. This is what makes our perfume. So we said we have to put this, at honor, give them a particular attention. And also we have lots of customers from the mass who write to us, and they really they're afraid of the niche, but they figure that we have a more human approach. And they always they love to smell good. They are in love with fragrances, but they want to get out of the mass and the me too, with the selective fragrances. And also they want direct fragrance. Price point, because what we did with this collection, it was to put the whole concentration, basically the basic concentration is in the juice, because we use the best raw material there are. We use the purest essential oils, and we work with Luca Maffei exclusively for this collection, and his house, his family house, raw material house, they provide us all the raw materials, and they make their own essential oils and raw materials. So yes, so it's a beautiful house, and we have great fragrances with Luca, of course. So, and we knew he became a very close friend. We visit each other, and we knew exactly that he's going to be the one who's gonna work on this collection. So we are very happy. We have 7 fragrances. Actually, it's a collection of 6 plus 1. Yes.
And here's the one that everything is based on.
Yes. Revelo. Revelo, it's from Greek, actually, which means to reveal, to show, to embellish. And we use the name. We liked it because it sounds really good, and it also responds perfectly to the concept. So what is Revelo? Actually, this collection, it's quite innovative. This formulation, Revelo, it was made with one purpose in mind, to really add and change the way we used to perfume ourselves. Throughout the experience, and of course, we all know, all the customers, we always have certain requests and expectations from a perfume. And many people, they complain about longevity, change of formulation on an acid on the skin with a acid pH.
Yeah, yep.
We love a certain fragrance, but it doesn't have enough body, it doesn't have enough. So Revelo, it responds basically to all these expectations and to all these requests. So it's used, we call it a perfume base primer, you can call it perfume foundation. So you apply it before you apply your favorite fragrance. And what's the beauty of it is that you can use it not only with Jul fragrances, but you can use it with any other fragrance you wear available on the market. And as I was saying, it acts like a barrier for people who have this problem changing the perfume on their skin. So it's a barrier that will maintain the favorite perfume intact. Also, it can be used as a primer for instance, we go from the office, we want to go out, we can put layer, exactly, we can layer Revelo, add our perfume, and there you have a more enveloping, lots of sillage, much more, it really embellishes your own perfume. Also for the longevity. Many customers, many clients speak about their favorite perfume, their signature perfume, and they complain about the longevity. They don't last enough on their skin. So Revelo fixes basically any perfume on the skin. And what's the beauty of it is that it can also be used alone, because it's a beautiful, it's a unique musk, pure musk formulation. And it's a skin perfume, it's a cocooning perfume, it's very soft, it's very discreet. We also have lots of customers who tell us, I want to be perfume, I want to use perfume, but I don't want to smell anything. So
you don't want it to be too sweet, and this is not too sweet.
Exactly, it's not compared to, for instance, Stairway to Heaven, which is a 8 musk molecule, 8 different molecules of musk fragrance, which is very enveloping. It has lots of character. It tells a story, and it's really present. Revelo, actually, it's basically it enhances your own smell. It smells like baby clean. It smells very cocooning. It's very discreet, but yet present. So you are perfumed without, projecting your perfume out there. So it responds once again to lots and lots of demands and expectations. So far we've launched it in, we did a beautiful event in Lausanne at the end of November. We didn't even have the product.
Oh, wow.
But yes, it was the occasion we have very loyal customers in Lausanne. So everybody was responded to the invitation, and they were the first ones to really see and try to discover the collection. We had the lab formulations. It was quite fun, actually. And then
that sounds wonderful.
It responded really.
I can't. It looks like, I'm sure it's not simple, but it's got not many notes in it when you look at it.
Yes, it's built as any other fragrance composition. It has head notes, it has heart notes, bottom notes. So you have lots of tone cabins. So it gives you that light, sweet, but very powdery touch to it. It has a little bit of cashmeran, a little bit of ambroxan. But the musk is what primes, and it was dosed in a way that would never take over your own perfume, because that's the secret, and that's the difficulty, because every time you layer perfumes, you do feel the ones taking over the others. But Revelo, it just enhances and it really sublimizes. I don't know if that exists in English. It really makes your own fragrance more beautiful, basically. So it brings the beauty in your fragrance without overwhelming it or denaturating it. That was a big
Sorry, everybody. We'll have to wait till it returns.
I'm in the countryside. My apologies. We are quite far from the civilization, and sometimes the connection is a bit strange.
Revelo, that's how you say it. You say it so beautifully.
Regalo, yes.
So which should we put on first with Revelo?
Hello, well, I think we should do it in the order of the strength and the
Okay.
composition.
Okay.
We can start with Cédrat gingembre. It's
Here we go.
Voilà,
Yeah.
the yellowish greenish happy Cédrat gingembre.
Okay.
So Cédrat gingembre, it's everybody knows le Cédrat, citron. So we wanted something that's very we wanted the formulation that was aromatic, that was green, that was what we call espéridé, citrusy, but without getting into the lemon classical formulations. And we wanted something that truly stands out and that's made with unisex composition as well, because we didn't want just the masculine fragrance. And we came up with the idea of using the ginger, which really it's a ginger is confit. Actually, it's what do you call it? The confit, the sugary, the iced ginger. Actually,
yeah.
Yes, which gives it more of a spicy but sweetness somehow at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And we use lots of white amber in the formulation as well. That gives it a long lasting. Believe it or not, it does last quite a long time for a citrus composition, and it does have lots of woody notes. We use the gaiac wood, the sandalwood, the cedar wood, but it's got sort of a sea salt, sea minerals note to it as well. And it's again, it's a very fresh, very uplifting, not very citrusy, spicy at the same time, aromatic. It's a happy fragrance, I think.
Exactly. Definitely modern.
Yes, it's a modern citrus fragrance. Again, we did not want to fall into, there are so many citrus fragrances out there, and we wanted something quite special. And the combination ginger, iced ginger, and cedrat was the one that we have chosen.
So I put it on top of the Revelo. I mean, wow, it's really
yes,
wonderful.
it brings it even from the beginning. It does the opening. It's so explosive. It's so beautiful and fresh. And again, it really helps with the longevity. So that's a big for a citrus combination.
Do you? I don't want you to tell us if you do, but do you have a favorite?
I do have a favorite. I'm in between two, actually.
Tell us at the end.
Okay.
Don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Voilà. The second one is a Bergamot Twist.
Okay. That's good.
The turquoise one, like the Tiffany's blue. Yes. Voilà. Bergamot Twist, again, I love bergamot. Personally, I'm just a fan of bergamot. And I wanted a bergamot that's why we call it twist, because it's a bergamot, but it has the composition of a real sheep, actually. So, it's very different from what's out there, because the bergamot rests very present, but we do have a combination. It's citrus, it's floral, it's spicy, and again, what's the beauty of it is that has all the sheep fragrance composition, basically. So that's why we call it bergamot twist. We give it a new to a classic, iconic bergamot. So we use lots of lavender, lots of labdanum as well. Again, the white amber is something that Luca really works beautifully. And what's the beauty of it is that it's fresh, it's a little sweet, it's a little floral, but again, it's quite how should I say? Again, perfectly unisex, but to me, it's more feminine. Personally, I love it because it has this. It ends with notes of vanilla and ambroxan.
The vanilla, you can tell you're not smelling
Yes,
vanilla, but you're like, what is that? You know, you can detect something.
exactly. It comes more present to the end, but again,
Yeah.
not taking over the freshness of the bergamot.
Yeah.
So it's a combination that is it's a fragrance that is very fun, very fresh, very summery, very sparkling, and also for women, because there are not many
Jeepers
like
for women.
citrus. Exactly, it's very rare. Besides mandarin or pineapple, they're not real fresh citrusy fragrances for women. And this one has it's very elegant, and the citrus, the bergamot, remains present with that. That's why with that sheep construction it
Yeah.
has.
You
So
can
this is one of
tell
my favorites.
you can tell there's lavender in there too, but you're not thinking, oh, this is another lavender fragrance.
Oh no, not at all. It's in there. It's present. It really sustains the bergamot. And it's with the labdanum. It's again the principle, the main note remains the bergamot. We feel it, we smell it, but it's sustained, and it's by notes, as I said, the lavender, the white amber, the labdanum, vanilla, ambroxan. So it's a complex, quite complex combination. But the bergamot is the star. That's for sure.
Yeah, these perfumes are not simple, just bergamot, just cedric, just oud, just whatever. I
No,
think they're complex, but wearable too. You're not weighed down by it.
exactly. We wanted to put forward and to how to say to concentrate and on specific ingredient, but again offering real compositions, not just the raw material as it is and take it the way it is. No, it's lots of work. We really worked the formulations, and we had lots of time, so we played a lot with
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
Yes.
Okay.
Fortunately or unfortunately, but we had lots of time on our hands for a change.
I think that the whole experience of the last few years was actually very interesting. Sometimes you were fraught, sometimes you were like you didn't care. Sometimes you were worried, but I think that it really changed everybody.
Oh, well, I think it's frozen again, the image, but okay, here I am. As I was saying, it changed pretty much, as you say, everybody. Us, for instance, we spend basically the entire time in the countryside. whereas we are city people, and Julian and I, and we discover such a passion for. Well, I grew up personally in the countryside, so it was okay.
Sure.
But as an adult, I always lived in the city, and I loved it. And I would have never seen myself going back to the countryside. And we are just spending our 100% basically of our time here, and we are just enjoying it so much.
Because
So it
you
really
can because
changes.
of the internet, you know.
Yeah, it's much more pleasant, you know, in the countryside than in Paris with everybody else during this time. So that's for sure.
I'm gonna guess which one is next. Oh, that's a hard one because they're all complex that are the remaining.
Alors, we can continue with the list. Exactly. Good
Okay.
choice. List nobilis.
This is the one my husband was looking forward to.
Oh, okay.
He's a special event decorator and florist from Holland, and he knows his flowers. So when he
Oh,
saw this, he
yes.
was like, "Oh,
Lys is one of the flowers I personally adore. In Romania,
oh,
the lilies were it's one of the main flowers for all celebration, and also it's just the smell. And unfortunately, as everybody knows, we cannot extract it's a silent
yeah,
flower, so we cannot extract the smell. So Luca did a marvelous job
good,
composing his accord. So, and I really love this flower because it really symbolizes, you know, the passion, the purity, the femininity, love, so admiration, and also is the symbol of kings. And that's why we call it Lis Nobilis. Well, from a Latin point of view, it's not correct.
that's okay."
So, but we played with the rhymes. So we're artists, so we allowed ourselves a little, you know. But it sounds that you know, it rhymes and it's fun, and that's the idea, to have fun with the perfumes. So what Luca did with this
It's really
beautiful
pretty.
work,
The
I think.
accord, the jasmine, the freesia, and the violet really work.
And it's again, we had several formulations for this, and we chose this one because it does have a spicy accord to it, which it gives us such an uplifting, because we can really fast with flowers like this, like these, we can very, very fast, you know, fall into déjà vu, a little old fashioned. So using a little spice accord, we use lots of pink pepper actually. It was, you know, it uplifts it. It's quite modern. Also, what's very important, with lots of freesia, so it's the peach blossom as well. It has beautiful notes to it. It has the jasmine, of course, and then it has the classical bottom notes, vanilla, patchouli, musk, and cedarwood. So,
I was surprised at how long it lasted too.
oh yes, it's very, very long lasting. Again, all the ingredients he used, whenever we have the chance to use them pure, we use them, we employ them, and they have such quality raw materials at their house. Yes, it's that's why we love to work with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
so
you're
it's
looking for,
very feminine. It's very feminine. It's very long lasting. Again, it's very young. It's very fresh. It's not heavy at all. It's uplifting, basically, because again, we would expect, when we work with one single flower, it's with the soliflor, as we call it, it's very difficult because you can really fast fall into, you know, classic, and sometimes old-fashioned, and that's very dangerous. So I think we managed to have a very modern, floral, spicy accord, and where the lily really, really, it's an explosion of lilies, basically.
Surprisingly, we have quite a few men who come in who like florals. And when the people yesterday who came in to smell it, they all were drawn to this one.
Okay.
This,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's see. Next, ganja oud or
Exactly. I would do noisette iris.
oh, you said that so prettily. Could you say it one more time?
Noisette iris. Noisette iris. Who knows Nutella? It's noisette.
I know.
So I already, voilà. The word Nutella tells everything. It's a quite fun. So it's quite fun fragrance. It's very gourmand, but at the same time, the hazelnut. It's married here with lots of roasted coffee, actually. So you don't have the classical sweetness that sometimes very heavy. And you have almost a smoked, but sweet smoked stand. And the iris powder is just magnificent because it combines so well with the hazelnut. So we had lots and lots of fun with this one, and because it's gourmand, but it's very fresh. It's almost floral, but it's gourmand. It's spicy, and it's a perfume that can be worn during the day as we can take it out into the night, actually.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, it does have, it's almost this guilty pleasure, but guilty pleasure with a certain elegance, actually, I think.
Absolutely. But it's not a gourmand that you want to eat. You know, some of them you're like, oh my God, if I could just have a bite of it, it would be wonderful. But this is really, to me, this is very elegant.
It's quite refined. Again, we did not want to, versus our Nea, for instance, which is very gourmand. It's very floral. Has a certain light about it, but you can taste the dry fruit in there. You can taste certain things here. You can smell the hazelnut. It's present. You feel that gourmand facet to it. But again, the iris brings it a very refined note to it, which categorize it oriental floral gourmand, but it's in between, basically.
When people smell this, when my family, when I went home, everyone leaned in like, what is that? No one could figure it out. And with the name, you think, oh no, it's going to be a powdery iris, but it's not.
No, not at all. Again, the secret here is the roasted coffee, which gives such a modern touch to it, and quite surprising because we would never expect that. And it blends really well with the hazelnut and the iris. So.
Yeah, you're not really sure. You don't think, oh, this is coffee. It's just, but there's something about it. You just can't figure it out. And I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, this is so fun. Well, there's only 2 left, so it's got to be the vetiver.
Or do vetiver cuir? Perfect. You all got them right then. You are perfect.
No, I just wore them all week, so I've been.
You can tell.
I have to know them all.
Yes. So vetiver cuir. Vetiver is another ingredient that we truly affectionate, and we realize that we don't have any fragrance based on vetiver in the other collections. Exactly. A true classic but elegant masculine fragrance. So we decided to work out with the vetiver and to give it a certain modern touch to it. We use lots of leather notes, which makes it very masculine. When we smell it, we can really say, whoa, that's masculine fragrance versus everything we basically do is quite unisex. But this is really for the true, refined, elegant gentleman. Voilà. So it has
It's a great one.
it has multiple facets to it because it's fresh on top because you have lots of bergamot and it does have lots of grapefruit. But then you have the labdanum, you have the ambroxan, you have the patchouli, and then you have the vetiver, you have the gaiac wood, you have the cedar wood, and one beautiful ingredient Luca works with very beautifully is the cashmeran. So it's we think it's a classic vetiver, but with a very refined touch to it. And the combination again, leather, vetiver. It's not one note that takes over the other. So they are just we work with fragrance so they blend together perfectly rather than taking over each other, and the result I think it's quite elegant.
I think it's the gaiac wood that is really gives it depth.
Yes, you do have the gaiac wood, and again at the end the cashmeran, it's very
Yeah.
very important. Yes,
Yeah.
it gives it that enveloping, almost cocooning actually feel to it, although it's a masculine fragrance.
I would wear it. I will
Oh,
be
yeah,
wearing
of course. That's the beauty of fragrance,
it.
and
Exactly.
we can wear anything and everything.
Many times women come in and the last thing they want is a floral. They're looking for the woods, the deep,
Oh, yes,
whatever. Yeah.
it's true. It's true. That's the beauty of niche. That's why we are here to
Oh, so
get
true.
away from the, not everybody wants to smell like Julia Roberts. So.
Or everybody else, you know.
Exactly. So we have, we choose the fragrance because it tells us something. A fragrance, when you smell it, it has to tell you a story. It has to move you in a way. It has to wake up something in you. If you just smell it and say, "Okay, I'll buy it because I'm told it's good," that's not the way we use fragrance. So.
That's so true. And I try to explain to customers, you have to love it, which is why we do sampling, because if you just can't buy a bottle and then not
Of
know.
course, of course, because you can wear it once and then say, well, finally, I don't like it. And it's a pity because it's not only an investment, but it's just
Yeah.
you're not happy. And that's not the idea. So a fragrance is such a part of a person's life. It has to make you happy. It has to evoke something. It has to, it's part of your confidence. It's part of your, personally, if I have an important meeting, I always have my perfume in, and one spray of my perfume, and you are ready to walk in, and you're ready for it. So it's very
For
important.
sure. Oh my God. It is. It gives you confidence.
Oh
You're
yes,
like,
of course. And it's your identity card basically. When you go someplace, the perfume precedes you. What Before seeing the person, you smell that person. The perfume walks in and it presents you. So it's so important to the perfume matches you as your personality because it's your as I say, it's like your identity cards.
exactly.
So it's very very important rather than using perfumes because somebody told me it smells good, but it doesn't represent you at all. So and that's the beauty of niche actually, and that's why we are here, and this is how we started. So
So true. It's a great place to be. Okay. Last but not least, how do you
Ganja
say that?
wood. Ganja.
Ganja oud. I
Ganja
have
wood.
never smelled ganja flower. What is a ganja flower?
Alors, is the marijuana.
Oh, I didn't even know it's called that.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
what a riot. I love it. Okay, that makes sense.
Actually, no, not many people know about it because actually the word ganja is used in Southeast Asia. When you go to Nepal, for instance, when you go up to the Himalayas, you walk through fields because it grows wild like any other plant, basically. And you go through fields of ganja, which is marijuana. And there are many fragrances out there. They, like Black Afghano, for instance. They do all these hashish and all these. Well, I'm not a user. I've never. I tried once and it didn't do anything to me. I but but nobody focused on the plant actually because the
Exactly.
plant in nature, and especially the flower, the head of the plant, it smells so beautifully. It's full of you feel the nature, you feel the chlorophyll. How should I say it? You feel the life going through that plant, and it's so it's not like freshly cut herb at all, but it's a smell that really really takes you in, and it's just so impressive. So every time we go to Nepal and we smell that, and we always laughed about it, said we should make a perfume. So finally we said, well, why not? So it's an accord again. Luca didn't have the the ingredients, but he created an accord that would be the closest to the ganja flower.
I wonder what he put in there.
So we
So,
start with notes of chamomile, actually, lots of chamomile and rhubarb. So it has a little spicy note of pink pepper as well, and lots of galbanum.
yeah.
And then you have lots of saffron. You have lots of little animalic notes, like the leather, like the suede. Actually, there is an accord. It's like you smell suede leather, incense, and then it's combined with lots of wood and sandalwood and black amber.
What does they mean by black amber?
It depends how it's extracted, because you have it's not the ambre gris, it's the vegetal, I said the vegetal, yeah, the vegetal amber actually. It's not the ambre gris, which is the the cachalot, the whale.
So it's more like
It's
ombre.
like a resin. It's like a resin, exactly. So you have, according to the extraction and the time of the year, you have it lighter or
Yeah.
darker, more macerated or less macerated.
Okay.
So it's much more taking in or less. So it's the vegetal amber.
Vegetable. Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. Now I understand it.
Yes.
It's a beautiful scent.
It's a beautiful smell. It's
Very woody.
masculine as well, but again, it's a wood, but it's a more woody wood. It's not the animalic wood that we are all used to. It's more of the woody notes are more present than the animalic, but combined with the ganja, so it's the marijuana flower for the amateur. But again, it's just about nature and about the beauty of the plant as we smell it and we see it naturally.
I mean, these are all. Each one of them is beautiful. Each one is
Thank you. Thank
reflects
you.
what it is. Nothing is smelling the same at all. I mean, they're all
Yes, and
so
that's
unique.
Yeah, thank you. That's the beauty of working with Luca, because he's got such a talent. Because there is a when we work together, there is sort of our signature, the Jules Mat signature is there, but we manage and he manages, and that's his genius coming in to make things so different. So.
I can hear.
Oh, you
Okay.
got no, I was saying that Luca has this way of working that he's doing things so different, because it's very hard to work with one perfumer and have a whole collection, because sometimes you can see similarities, but
Right.
his way of working is that he manages to make such different formulations that we would never think he's the same person is behind them.
No, I agree. I don't think he would know.
Yes.
You're very fortunate to have chosen him. That was very intelligent of you to do that.
Thank you.
Well, I think we hit the hour line that we have to go.
Oh,
Thank you so
okay.
much for everything you